Hello everyone, I'm Richard Nance with your Defensive Tactics Technique of the Week. Today we're going to be looking at in-holster handgun retention. Frank, sadly each year there are still officers killed with their own firearm, and quite frankly if you're beaten into unconsciousness, there's not a lot you can do. Right. Other than have a quality holster. I mean, this is a Blackhawk Serpa holster, which is level 3. There are other holsters that are also quality holsters that will help to where your gun is just not easily taken out even if you're unconscious. So that's the first thing you could do from kind of giving yourself every advantage. Right. But you have to have techniques that work very well for this, because when someone's trying to get your gun, you know, statistics tend to show that they're not getting it because they're going to resell it somewhere, right? I mean, they're getting it because they're going to cause you harm.
You're going to be the first victim of your own stolen gun.
Exactly. So when you're talking about a weapon retention situation, all bets are off and it's go time, right? So some of the techniques I've seen involved taking the person down. What I don't like are techniques that show where I have to do something different based on how you grab. You know, whether you grab with your left hand, I do a technique. You grab with your right hand, it's a different technique. And heaven forbid you grab with both hands, now I got to do something altogether different. Because when someone starts tugging on your gun, whether it's from the rear, from the front, or whatever, even on the ground, you just need to be able to respond with one technique that you can just default to and just go caveman on them until you can establish control of the situation. So let's say that you grab with your left hand first. First of all, what I hate, this is the way we all train, I hate to train against this, because if you're really trying to take my gun, there's no way there's going to be all this room here. You're going to be driving me back, you're going to be your head's going to be down, and quite frankly that nullifies some of the techniques that I was taught. One of them is to strike here and step back and in effect a takedown. But what happens is when your body is oriented this way and realistically you have two hands trying to get the gun out, now how do I do that, Frank? I can't, you know what I mean? I'm left with nothing. So whatever technique you choose has to take into account this realistic type of approach. Quite frankly, he may drive you back to the point that you're against the wall, so you have to have those techniques, or you may end up on the ground, but that's for another segment. So I like this particular technique because it works regardless of the grab. Grab with your left hand first. First thing we have to do, obviously, is secure the gun down in the holster and widen our stance to lower our base. Now what I like to do from here, what's right here, his head, I'm going to knew that one was coming up. I'm going to give him a strike there with my palm. And from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across this way and strike. In this case, it's the interior of his elbow. And as I strike that, I'm going to move my right leg out of the way. So that will look like this to try to break his hold of the gun. Now, he may fall to the ground, he may not, but what we're looking for is that clean separation there. So as he grabs, again, I'm going to come down here, strike, boom, and I'm coming here to knock his hand off the gun. And that way you get that clean separation. Then you can come back, draw, and then my gun's out. Sorry about that. Okay, now if he grabs with the right hand.
You're going to demonstrate more gently.
I will demonstrate more gently this time. As he grabs with the right hand, again, I'm coming down here to control his wrist, and I'm sinking my weight. So here I don't have a lot of pressure on his wrist, but when I do that, I'm getting my body weight behind it. Same exact technique. Still going to strike, but now as I deliver this, it's going to be to the outside of his elbow, and I will do this much more gently because obviously you could end up with a break there, but that's not necessarily what I'm going for. I'm just doing this, stepping out, the same technique. From there, I can draw and assess. Now, Frank, we'll grab with both hands. I do the same technique. I'm just going to come down really in a high-stress situation, fight or flight. You're just going to get a hand down there. I'm not going to know which hand I end up with. I'm going to drive down here. I'm going to strike. Now, is there anything wrong with striking him 2 or 3 times? No. Loosen him up a little bit. Bam! You just want to be doing something proactive. Then here I'm going to hit this near side elbow. Again, this is the same technique as before. Boom, to try to separate him, get my gun off of his, get his hands off my gun, and then create distance to draw. Either way you want this time. I won't go too fast. Here, step down, strike, get him off, and there you go. So make sure you have techniques that work regardless of the type of grab for keeping possession of your gun when it's in the holster.